Now, folks, according to Tom Hanks, young actors today shouldn't be given the same opportunities that he was actually offered 20 years ago. The multi-Oscar winning actor, who is straight, white, male and able-bodied, says he couldn't now play his most iconic roles as characters facing various adversaries because in 2022 he must stay in his straight, white, privileged box. You see, as a straight man, he couldn't now make Philadelphia, in which he brilliantly played a man who is dying of AIDS, nor potentially could he play Forrest Gump, a man with learning difficulties. Now, the question I want to put to you today is, in 2022, can an actor take on any role, right? If you're straight, you're white, and you're not disabled, like Tom, you're probably going to struggle to get a job in Hollywood, which is focused on making dramas about so-called oppressed groups. It's all about hunting for that victim narrative. Now, the phenomenon of gay face, right, it's likely something you haven't heard of before, and rightly so. You've probably got a job, you've probably got family and friends and a life to be cracking on with over following some of this meaningless whackery and wokery of Hollywood. But it's actually a poison, I think, that's spreading through every area of our life. And this poison corrupts and distorts the genuine progress that's been made over recent years in social and legal spheres, in things like race relations, in things like gay rights and women's rights. Gay face is when an actor is straight and playing gay, which used to be known, folks, as acting. I know, a novel idea, right? I think there's no such thing as a gay role. The only meaningful metric for a role, in my view, should be whether or not you're a decent actor capable of acting. And you've got to think of it this way as well. Does it cut both ways? Are gay people not to play the roles of straight people? If that's the case, it's undoubtedly as repressive as the old days, when actors daren't come out as gay for fear that they wouldn't be cast in any role because of their sexuality. If we judge actors not on their ability to act, but if they fancy the same sex or the opposite sex, then how, folks, ask yourself this, how are we any better than the bigotry of old that was obsessed with sexual orientation? Every week these days, right, there's an attack on some actor for daring to act in a role of a character that doesn't share their immutable characteristics. But of course, in this day and age, 007 can be a black woman, and Henry VIII's wife, Anne Boleyn, is played by a black woman, and Doctor Who's most recent iteration was suddenly a woman. It's inconsistent, right? It doesn't make sense, this whackery, wokery nonsense. But welcome to Hollywood, darling, right? Because in today's woke world, it's diversity that's king. We have to shake off the oppressive nature of toxic masculinity, they say, of the whiteness of characters, and instead focus on which identity box an actor ticks for a certain role. If you ask me, it's the immiseration of stories and plots that I think is destroying the magic of the industry. A good actor is able to transform themselves and their viewers into believing that they are the genuine article. That's the beauty of cinema and theatre. A good actor doesn't need to have lived the life of their character, and for God's sake, Tom Hanks played the role of a toy cowboy in Toy Story. Last time I checked, don't know about you, but I don't think he's got any experience in being a toy or a cowboy. We've got to reject this politically correct obsession with identity. People are much more than that. Human beings are much more than that. In every walk of life, you should be given the role if you're the best, most talented person for the job. To hell with the rest of it. But politics is downstream of culture, right? The President of the United States, he now appoints the top judges in the United States because of race and gender. And major US colleges proudly discriminate against East Asians and white people because of perceived privilege. Here in Britain, The Labour Party has long actually banned men from standing in certain seats. It's now bringing in all black and minority ethnic shortlists. And the BBC, well, they've had staff quotas for gender and sexuality. But I say, to hell with quotas, to hell with identity checklists, and to hell with the idea that an actor cannot play the role of a gay man if they themselves are not gay. Equality means equality. Left-wing, Hollywood-inspired identity politics, it's spreading like a virus. It's breeding resentment, and it's turning the clock of progress backwards. I think we've really lost our way, and Tom Hanks has lost his too.